if you are struggling to make it to like $1,000 a month in profit, this video is for you. You are like the people that I love to help the most. Now, I do want to note that everyone is at different points. Everybody's in a different situations. I've literally been all over. I went from side hustle to part-time to full-time, back to side hustle. And then I've been like very part-time side hustle for like the last couple of years. And I'm trying to move my way back up. So I've gone from under $1,000 profit to way over $1,000 profit, back to down under $1,000 profit. I'm pretty familiar with building up when I need to. In fact, right now, I'm personally on my way to $1,000 a month in profit. I just got an office. This is my new office. I did a video on it. So now I have the space and the time to get to that $1,000 a month in profit, just in a way that's more sustainable for me personally. So I want to talk to you about how you can get there too. So first I want to say there are so many different ways to get to $1,000 a month in profit. You could literally sell 10 things at $100 in profit and make $1,000 in profit. You could literally sell 100 things at $10 profit and make $1,000 in profit. So there's so many different ways to do this and none of them are correct. I want to tell you right now that there is no correct way to resell. Everybody does it differently and it's always going to depend on your situation, how much capital you have, how much time you have, what your sourcing opportunities are, and so much more. So don't feel like if you're not doing it the way other people are doing it, you're not doing it right. I'm sure all of us would love to sell 10 $100 profit items. That sounds super easy. Why don't we all do that? And the thing is most of us aren't finding items that sell for $100 often enough to make that our entire business model. Most of us are going to find a range of items that profit anywhere from $10 to $100. Most of the things that I find are profiting me $20 or less just because of the way I source and the place that I live right now. So you kind of have to think about things like how much time you have to source, how much you're willing to spend per item and stuff like that. So people who are profiting $100 per item usually aren't buying a bunch of stuff for like $2 or $3 and selling it for $100. That's pretty rare. That happens to me maybe a couple of times a year. Even $2 into $50 or $3 into $50 is pretty rare. So if you want to try and be a seller that profits $100 on an item, you might have to spend $20, $30, $40, $50, or even $100 to profit $100. You kind of have to think about what kind of reseller you want to be, and then you can go from there. It's all gonna depend on, like I said, your sourcing opportunities, your capital, how much time you have, all that kind of stuff. So for example, when I first started, I was a stay-at-home mom to a 2-year-old. I think he was a 2-year-old at that time. He's around 2. And I was not able to source a lot because what 2-year-old wants to sit in a thrift store for hours while mom looks around. So I was able to source maybe like 3 to 5 hours a week on weekends when my husband was home and can watch my son. Most of the time that I had was available during his naps and at night. So I had less time to source and more time to list. So I didn't mind picking up items that I could profit like $10 on. It wasn't a big deal for me. It was an extra income for me. And it was more of like a hobby business side hustle for me. So I would just pick up items that I knew I could make a profit on. Items that I knew I could list and sell and make a profit regardless if that profit was like $8 or $20. Obviously I tried for those higher profit items, but when you can only source 3 or 5 hours a week, you might not find a lot of that stuff because it takes longer to source that kind of inventory because it's just not as common. Eventually, I graduated to a point where I only wanted to buy items that were going to bring me a $20 profit because you put just as much effort into listing an item, whether it's going to profit you $5 or $20, right? You're going to take pictures, you're going to list it, you're going to store it, you're going to ship it. You might as well make $20, right? And I was just at a point where I couldn't spend a lot of time on reselling in general. So I was just trying to be really picky and just kind of do this on the side and only pick up items that were $20 or more. And then recently I moved kind of back to not necessarily looking for items that profited less on purpose, but being okay with items that sell for maybe a $10 or $15 profit if it's something that has a good sell-through rate and I know that I can sell it quickly. Because in my mind, I want to move inventory. I want to go out there and shop. I don't want to store a lot of stuff. I want to sell stuff. So I'm okay with a $10 or $15 profit. If I can sell it in a week and I can sell it 4 or 5 times in the time that I'm waiting for something else to sell for a $20 profit, I'm making more money that way and I'm okay with that. So it really just depends on you, your situation, and those were just some examples of different kind of strategies for reselling. Like I said, there's no right way to resell. It has to work for you and your situation. And as long as you are actually keeping track of your finances and you know that you're making a profit, you're paying yourself, your business's finances are healthy, and you're happy with the money that you're making, it doesn't matter how much you make in comparison to other resellers. There are resellers that will tell you that if you're not making $20 or $50 profit on an item, it's not worth it. But if you're paying attention to your numbers, you know how much you're making, you know you're making a profit, and those numbers work for you for the amount of time you're putting in, then why not? However, if you are not paying attention or you don't know your numbers, you may be making a lot less than you think you are if you are selling those lower end items. If you're watching this and you're like, oh, I can't even get to like $500 or $1,000 in sales, I want to let you know that I just updated my course, the Reseller Roadmap. It is a step-by-step guide to start, streamline, and scale your reselling business, and I'm so proud of it. I've had over 200 students go through it, and it kind of begins with that whole evaluation. There's a 10-minute business evaluation where you can kind of look at your numbers and see how much you're making. There have been so many people who have gone through that little evaluation. It's just like one sheet of paper and found out they're making less than minimum wage. So if you're in that camp where you're either making less than minimum wage and you're not okay with that, or you don't even know what you're making, and you're just having trouble getting sales, if you're super serious about making reselling work in a way that can bring you a consistent income without kind of taking over your life and your house, then go ahead and check that out. You can check the link below. It will give you all the information on what's included. I feel like it's a really good value if you just want to kind of like have someone to guide you along to get started. So that could be a good investment in your business. So you can check that below if you want to. Otherwise, I have plenty of videos here on YouTube that can help you out too. So like I was saying, making $1,000 a month is done many different ways. And it might be a range of things for you. For me personally, I told you I'm trying to make $1,000 a month, and my goal is to have 100 items listed, so not a very big store, and have a 50% sell-through rate, which means I would sell about 50 items per month. And then I want my average sale price to be around $20, and that would bring me $1,000 per month. I would be really happy with that. I don't want to have a ton of inventory, and I want to sell things quickly. I want to be able to shop, but I also want to be able to sell my stuff. I don't want to just hold on to it. And a 50% sell-through rate is actually pretty hard. I don't think most resellers are selling 50% of their inventory at all, even close to that really, most resellers. So it's going to be a challenge, and I'm super excited to kind of bring you along in getting to that $1,000 a month and 50% sell-through rate. Those are like my goals. I want to hear what kind of reseller you are planning to be. Are you kind of like me where you'd rather spend very little on items, maybe have a pretty good sell-through rate and sell items for a little bit less? Or are you someone who would rather maybe spend a little bit more money or time sourcing and sell items for more? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I would really love to hear what your plans are. I actually did another video earlier this year where it kind of like a light bulb went off, and I realized that I was done focusing on only getting items that gave me a 20% profit, and I was way more focused on items that I knew had a good sell-through rate and would sell really quickly, because I want to be selling and flipping my items and moving on, rather than having my inventory or my capital just sitting in a bin on a shelf somewhere. I'm also learning a lot about reselling in an area that has a lot less of the good brands. I used to live in the LA area, and I would find decent brands, and I could drive to LA to get better brands. And now I live in an area that's more of a small town. We don't even have a mall here. The mall's like 30 minutes away, and good brands aren't really a thing here. I do find some good stuff once in a while, but I'm learning to resell in a way that like more of the average reseller gets to experience. And I used to get super jealous of people who lived in good areas. I watch people on YouTube and I'm like, how do you find such good stuff? That's not fair. And once I kind of like took a step back and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna like go move somewhere where I'm gonna get really good inventory. So I need to suck it up and figure out how to make this business work for me. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm not going to necessarily focus so hard on things that are gonna sell for $20 profit or more. I'm more gonna focus on what I know I can find here, what I know I can sell fast. And I'm focusing a lot more on things, selling things based on style, and also selling lots, like lots of kids items, lots of adult items, stuff like that. So I can buy those items that aren't necessarily worth selling on their own, but I can still get a $20 or $30 sale out of 2 or 3 or 4 of a certain item. It's still something I'm kind of playing around with. I'm really just playing with kids' clothes at this point, but I am going to start doing it with adults' clothes as well. So now some quick tips to kind of help you get to $1,000 a month in profit. Up until now, it's been more like kind of a you can do it motivational kind of video, but now let me give you some quick tips that I think might help you if you are struggling to get to $1,000 a month in profit. The first thing you want to do is figure out what kind of reseller you want to be. Kind of come up with a criteria. Are you kind of like a slow dime seller where you'd rather make more money and sell things slower, or a fast nickel seller where you want to make a smaller profit but sell things quick and kind of be able to reinvest that money? I'm personally a fast nickel seller. Like I said, I'd rather make $10 in profit this week than wait 2 months to get $20. Another thing is if you're not researching every single item that you pick up, I highly recommend doing that. You want to research things like sell-through rate, average sale price. You want to calculate things like how much profit you're going to make after all of your fees and cost of goods to make sure that you're actually making a profit on these items, because you are spending your money and you're spending your time on these items. So researching every single item you put into your cart to take home to list is key, especially when you're like a newer reseller. Another thing you might want to do is, if you have been reselling a little bit, kind of take a look at your solds and see what is working for you. Focus on what has sold and what has shown you in the past, hey, this sells really well for me and I can find this in my area. I'm going to kind of focus on that. If you find that like t-shirts and tank tops are not doing well for you, but you sell a lot of pants and dresses, then really focus on that. If there's certain styles or brands that you find decently well, focus on that and just kind of use your solds to guide you into what is going to work best for your business. And that way you can just focus on the items that are kind of more profitable and that you know you can find because you've been selling it already. One thing I preach about all the time is cross-posting your items. I would not make as many sales as I do without cross-posting my items. I sell on 4 platforms. I think I mentioned it: eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and I recently added Depop to try that out, and I've made a couple sales there. I highly recommend doing that. I use Vendoo to cross-post my items. I always have a Vendoo link in the description below because I use it all the time. And that's what I use to cross-post my items so that I have my items in front of as many people as possible, because not everybody shops all those platforms. Some people are loyal to Mercari or loyal to eBay. So you want to be able to have your items in places where people can find them. And the last thing is just to have a good strategy in place. Treat your business like a business. You can still have fun with it even if you're making good business decisions, and if you're using a good strategy. You want a good strategy for sourcing, you want a good strategy for pricing. This is a lot of what I talk about in the Reseller Roadmap. Like I said, the link for that is below if you want to check that out. But just having a good strategy for sourcing, pricing, organizing, and just having a good business practice in general is going to really help you scale up, versus just not taking your business seriously, not having a strategy, just buying things based on what you feel, listing here and there. That's not going to get you to your goals, unfortunately, but you can still have a strategy and have fun with your business. So having a good strategy in place is really important. So I hope this video has helped kind of inspire you and given you some ideas to get to that $1,000 a month in profit milestone. I will be working along with you, and I will be updating you as I go along. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out in the algorithm. I really appreciate it. That tells YouTube that you like my video, and they will show it to more people, hopefully. So that really helps me out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.